Hello everyone. In the previous class, I have explained what is testing, the fundamental principles of testing. In the fundamental principles of testing, we have discussed first four principles of the testing. What are those? The goal of testing is to find defects before customers find them out. The second one is exhaustive testing is not possible, that is the complete testing of the product is not possible. Program testing can only show the presence of defects, never their absence. Third one is testing applies all through the software development life cycle. And the fourth one is understand the reason behind the test. These four principles we have covered in the previous class. In today's class, we will discuss the remaining. The fifth one is test the tests first. For this, we have taken one example, that is doctor and patient example. Here the doctor is audiologist. All of you read this example. An audiologist was testing a patient, telling her, I want to test the range within which you can hear. I will ask you from various distances to tell me your name, and you should tell me your name. Please turn back and answer. The patient understood what needs to be done. Doctor asks from 30 feet distance, what is your name? Again after some time, the doctor asks from 20 feet distance, what is your name, to the patient. Again he asks from 10 feet distance, what is your name, to the patient. At the last, patient replied, that is, for the third time, let me repeat, my name is Sheila. What is the meaning of this story? See here, an audiologist was testing a patient, telling her, I want to test the range. Means here the doctor is testing the patient from different distances to check whether the patient can hear properly or not. By this example, we can understand that it is the audiologist who has a hearing problem, not the patient. That's why times her name, then also the audiologist was unable to hear. Means here the audiologist who has a hearing problem, not the patient. Therefore, we need to test the tests. A defective test is more dangerous than a defective product. This is the first one, that is test the tests first. We will see the next principle. The next principle is tests develop immunity and have to be revised constantly. For this, they have taken the example of the pesticide paradox. By the pesticide paradox, here the farmer using pesticides to kill pests from the crops. Here every year pests of the various types attack fields and crops. Agriculture and crop experts find the right antidote to encounter these pests and design pesticides with new and improved formula. Interestingly, the pests get used to the new pesticides, develop immunity, and render the new pesticides ineffective. In subsequent years, pesticides have to be used to kill the pests which have not yet developed this immunity, and new and improved formula that can combat these tougher variants of pests have to be introduced. This combination of new and old pesticides could the effectiveness of the working of old pesticide. Over time, the old pesticides become useless. Thus, there is a constant battle between the pests and the pesticides to get ahead of the other. Sometimes pesticides win, but in a number of cases, the pests do succeed to defy the latest pesticides. This battle results in a constant churning and evolution of the nature and composition of the pesticides. Here, defects are like pests. Testing is like designing the right pesticides to catch and kill the pests, and the test cases that are written are like pesticides. Just like pests, defects develop immunity against test cases. There are two possible ways to explain how products develop immunity against test cases. One is white box testing and another is black box testing. First we will see what is white box testing. White box testing, here in this type of testing, the code of the product is tested. The initial tests go a certain distance into the code and are stopped from proceeding further because of the defects they encounter. Once these defects are fixed, the tests proceed further. Now we will see black box testing. In this type of testing, it is a functionality approach. Here users or the testers start using a product. The initial defects prevent them from using the full external functionality. As tests are run, defects are uncovered and problems are fixed. Users get to explore new functionality. Therefore, tests are like pesticides. We have to constantly revise their composition to tackle new pests or defects. This is the sixth fundamental principle, that is, tests develop immunity and have to be revised constantly. Now we will see the next one, seventh one, that is, defects occur in convoys or clusters and testing should focus on these convoys. See here, see the image. What does this indicate? This is a traffic congestion, right? Traffic congestion. In this traffic congestion, we can see a convoy, cluster effect. What is meant by convoy or cluster? Convoy means a group of items. Here, there will be stretches with very heavy congestions with vehicles looking like they are going in a convoy or cluster. Testing can only find a part of defects that exist in a cluster. Fixing a defect may introduce another defect to the cluster. Defects in a program is also similar to this convoy phenomenon. They occur in clusters. A fix for one defect generally introduces some instability and helps to fix another defect. All these fixes produce side effects that eventually cause the convoy of defects in certain parts of the product. We will take one more example, that is, fixing a tear in one place in a shirt would most likely cause damage in another place. The only long-term solution in such a case is to throw away the shirt and create a new one. This amounts to a re-architecting the design and rewriting the code. What we can conclude from this is, defects occur in groups. When you defects, it may arise some more defects. That is, testing can only find a part of defects that exist in a group, introduce another defect to the cluster. See here, when you execute any program, what will happen while executing it, sometimes it will show you only one error. When you fix that error, it will show you 10-12 errors. In the same way, it may introduce you another part of defects in the program. We will see the next one, that is eighth one, that is testing encompasses defect prevention. They have given one story for you, the policeman on the bridge. All of you read the story. There was a wood bridge on top of the river in a city. Whenever people walked over it to cross the river, they would fall down. To take care of this problem, the city appointed a strong policeman to stand under the bridge to save the people who fall down, while people continued to fall down the bridge. When the policeman moved to the different position, a new policeman was appointed to the job. During the first few days, instead of standing at the bottom of the bridge and saving the falling people, the new policeman worked with an engineer and fixed the hole on the bridge, which had not been noticed by the earlier policeman. People then stopped falling down the bridge, and the new policeman did not have anyone to save. This made his current job redundant, and he moved to do the other things that yielded even better results for himself and the people. What is the meaning of this story? Here, testers are best equipped to know the problems customers may encounter. Like the second police officer in this story, they know people fall and they know why people fall. Rather than simply catch the people who fall, they should also look at the root cause for falling and advise action. Testers would have to work with development engineers to make sure the root cause of the defects and are addressed. Defect prevention is a part of testers' job. A career as a tester can be enriching and rewarding if we can balance defect prevention and defect detection activities. Therefore, defect prevention is better than cure. You may be able to expand your horizon much further. Therefore, testing encompasses defect prevention. Thank you.